Welcome to the Odd and Even app. This app will help us demonstrate general rules with regard to adding and multiplying odd and even numbers. As we can see, the app is simple. We have two modes, numbers or buses and trucks, and the numbers 1 through 10. So let's start in numbers mode and drag out from the 5, and we get a 5. Let's also drag out a 6, a 7, and an 8. Now let's move to the mode buses and trucks. Now we'll drag out an 8, and we see we get 8 rounded squares. And these are ordered in 4 pairs. Now let's take out a 7, and here we see 3 pairs and 1 extra shape. We call this mode buses and trucks because this shape looks like a bus, and this one looks like a truck. Let's take out the 6 and the 5. Now, in a class discussion, we would like the students to explain which numbers look like buses and which ones look like trucks. And the answer is that the buses represent even numbers because they're ordered in pairs, and trucks represent odd numbers. They're made of pairs and then 1 extra shape on the end. Now, double-clicking a number will change its color to blue. So if we double-click again, it will change back. Now, let's go ahead and make the even numbers blue, the 6 and the 8. Now, we can then ask the students, if we add the 6 and the 8, will we get an odd or an even number? One way to solve the question is to add 6 and 8. See that the answer is 14, and find that 14 is an even number. What we hope to discover with the students is that we don't actually have to do the addition. If we take a bus and add another bus to it and let go, the app combines them nicely. And of course, we get a bus. This sort of general thinking where we're not adding numbers to each other but only looking at the type of numbers being added is in the category of algebraic thinking. Now, let's go ahead and place the 6 here and the 8 here. And now we ask, okay, if we add a 5 and a 7, will we get an odd or even number? Well, let's do this. Let's go ahead and place the 5 on the 7 and let go. And the app shows us how they combine to form also an even number. The extra shape from the 7 and the extra shape from the 5 created together a new pair. So we can see here general rules. Adding any 2 buses, or any even numbers, gives us a bus. And adding 2 trucks also gives us a bus. Adding 2 odd numbers gives us an even number. We can ask the students what other types of addition we can have. And this is, of course, an odd number and an even number. So let's make the even number blue and bring in their graphic representations. So here's the 5, and here's the 8. And so if we add a truck and a bus, we get a truck. And let's place the 5 over here. Now, let's open a new page and bring in a 5, another 5, a 6, 8, and 10. Now, we can ask the students, if we add up all these numbers, will we get an odd or even result? Now here, thinking in general principles can save a lot of time in calculations. So let's mark the even numbers blue and bring in the graphic representations of the numbers. So we can start by adding the 5s. So the 2 trucks turned into a bus. And we can see that adding the buses won't make a difference. The general principle is that adding an even number will never change the number in terms of its being odd or even. In class, you can easily write your own examples as you see fit. Let's move on to a new page. And now, let's see something interesting about multiplication. So we'll use the general tool for writing math expressions and write 5 times 6. So we can read this as 5 6s. Let's move to buses and trucks mode, bring in a 6, and hold down the Control key and then just drag it to duplicate the shape. So we'll need 5 6s. And we can easily see that since we only have buses, the sum will have to be a bus. Now, let's duplicate the question, and this time we can think of it as 6 5s. So let's take out a 5 and duplicate it so that we have 6 of them. In this representation, it's a little trickier to see why the answer is even. Since we have 6 5s and 6 is even, we will be able to divide the 5s into pairs. 1, 2, and 3 pairs. Each pair now gives an even number. And now that we only have buses, well, the answer is a bus, an even number. So that's it. These are the tools. They're very visual and easy to use, and we hope you enjoy them in class. Thank you so much for watching.